Hello, guys. You should be able to hear me now. Test.
Hey, Senti,
Yeah, that's
Algo,
correct.
Fenris, how's it going?
All right. So we had to ping the big boss man, Trez, to help us out. I tried to set up this showcase, and it seems to want to set it up for Ocarina of Time randomizer, which is not what we're doing today. So, me and Coin can talk at you until we get this sorted. Um,
Yeah, no, there's honestly a couple things I wanted to talk about before moving around, so it kind of works out in that sense. This is NMG Mentor Program, week 3. We're going to go over Pod and Thieves Town, and I recommend if this is the first time you're going through Pod to take notes. We're going to go to the front, I think 4 or 5 times, and it can get very confusing. And I will announce when this will be the second time or the third time we go through the front or through the center. And if I hope that will assist you with getting through that. Another thing to talk about is when you get to the pyramid and Aga's talking to you, it's important to make sure that you have 110 rupees to get in. Um, you need 10 rupees for Kiki to follow you, and then 100 rupees for him to open up Palace of Darkness. And I'd encourage that if you realize that you're a little bit short, to take a note of that and consider looking.
you let me know if there's duplicate audio, chat.
All right, I'm gonna talk again. Do you guys hear a single coin or two coins in harmony? We back. All right, fantastic. So, uh, basically, we're gonna hold B and down to keep our sword out, do a quick hop, and we're gonna do a spin speed up here to go along the top here. And it's important to stay as high as you can because this particular moblin sometimes likes to walk up, and that's why you want to hold right here to go across. Another option after you do this quick hop is do spin speed. Well, it helps when you hit the spin speed. And then you want to do that diagonal and then go across the right. See how this guy moved up? That's why it's really important to stay as high as you can with this statue and go along the right. If you go down too much and then back up, problems will occur. If you're not about spin speed, that's fine. You can just dash across, move down, and you want to leave this screen at the bottom because if you leave it at the top, you have this stupid sign in your way. So when you leave at the bottom, you'll be able to hold right here and dash turn down. That's an easy screen, so you guys got that. This Hinox here can sometimes throw bombs. So what you want to do is watch him to see if he's going to throw 2 bombs to the right. Basically, when you enter the screen, he will sometimes either just walk around like he's doing, or he'll throw a bomb to the right. If he throws only 1 bomb, you're good. The bomb will explode by the time you take this path under the thing. So I'm gonna try to get him to show you the bad one. See, there's 1 bomb and there's 2 bombs. So we move down and dodge it. Perfect. Those are the 2 scenarios. After that screen, hold on, let me make another save state. All we're going to do is walk over to here and dash turn up. Just to let you know, if you were down on money, this is a good tree that I believed had 5 rupees. Let's bonk it from the top. Is it the second tree? Huh. Alright, I'll have to look back at that, but I could have sworn bonking this tree was 5 rupees. Alright, my mistake. So, basically, you're gonna dash turn up here, and you're gonna go up this tree to go along here. Now, I'm gonna warn you, this bird is very dangerous. So, if you don't like to fight that bird and deal with this turn up the tree, you can go up this pathway, and this ropa will be in your way. So, let me show you that again. I'll show you an easier path. You turn higher, and then you'll have to deal with this ropa, and then diagonal, and then you won't have to deal with that bird at all. We'll also show you that that tree has a fairy in it if you want to fill a bottle up or if you want to get a refill. That'll also be on the way back after we're done with pod. So if you want to refill your bottle, you can. And we're going to go this way. The fairy's apparently going to follow me. Going to dash this way. We're going to dash high here because we want to make this this overhang. If we dashed a little bit lower, we would have bonked on this. Um, Then we're going to go across this way. If you want, under this canopy, there is a dash here, as you can see, is a pretty long dash. And now we meet Kiki. We're going to do an ABY, an AB, and then an LR. Now, it's important that we don't lose Kiki, because then it'll cost us another 10 rupees, and we'll have to go back to under the canopy in order to, and we have to pay him another 10 rupees. And obviously, I'm at 109, so I don't want to do that. Only enemy that's really scary is
Coin.
that moblin. Yes.
Sorry to
No,
interrupt
it's
you
okay.
again. I'm not sure if it's watchable because of the delay. When I set up the showcase, I put a delay on you, which is causing you now because we changed how the audio is routed in the middle of it.
Oh,
So what you're talking about doesn't match what's showing on the screen. So it's really hard to learn from. So I
okay.
don't want to waste your time. And yeah, so we have to fix this sync issue
Sure.
before I proceed. But you can
No,
talk to them as feel free to continue talking while I try to sort this.
okay, sounds good. So what I'll do is I will hang right here, so that way when, we can kinda chat about this arc. So hopefully I'll wait a few seconds and, stream will catch up. But essentially, this arc is the scariest part of losing the monkey, and so what you want to do is you want to watch the moblin who is basically kinda in the pause menu at the moment. He's the guy that throws the spears. You want to, as you're going through the horizontal, um, canopy, you want to see if he is going to throw spears upwards. If he sees you, he'll start kinda, like, blocking the top path, and as you can see, there's a ropa above the, path, and he will walk down, and they will do a good job of trying to stop us from going through that, canopy. So, if the moblin starts throwing spears upwards and kinda walks forward, what you want to do is throw a boomerang at the roper upwards, and then as you will be able to time to walk through the spears and get to the other side. And hopefully you will see that, as I do this a couple times. So the idea is you boomerang that, you would wait here for the spear throwing, and then kinda walk through, and let's see if I can cause that to happen. So here you go. Well, that time actually he can get aggroed, but it stays a little bit to the right, so that is possible too. It's trying to get him to do those so you can see it. I think, I'm gonna have to go back a second in order to do that. May have loaded this at the wrong spot, but let me know when, the syncing issue is fixed, Pops. Let me start this over again, get back over there real quick. Alright, so let's make a save state right here. Let's see if I can get this to happen. He's just not behaving right now. Oh, I guess you'll have to trust me on that one, and I'll have to make a video later. How we doing, Pops?
Um, Pops has been better. I'm trying my best to follow along to what I'm being told to do.
Okay, cool.
Um, are you outputting the game and your mic to the OBS profile you're using?
Let me see. On my OBS, I see my microphone lighting up as well as the HDMI for the audio there. So yes.
There's your game audio.
Yes, I have game audio on, and then this is my microphone. I can share, right, you can see my share on Discord. And that's you talking the desktop audio. Is there something in Discord that I don't know? I'm talking to you. And I only did the share so that way you can see it. No, I haven't made any changes in OBS. This should be outputting audio through the stream key. Okay, so I was talking about this this walk that we're gonna avoid, and by doing so, we're going to go pretty much as close as we can to the cutscene, which is right about here, and then we're gonna press down, and that's gonna pull Kiki behind us. And I'll do it like 5 times because of the delay. And I usually use that menu, and you see how much higher he is? So now, he's only going to do like a little bit of a walk, and that saves a lot of time, because Kiki, unfortunately, is a bit slow. So look how high Kiki is now. He's basically higher than me. So right now, he's just going to instantly hop. So I'll do it a few more times, because of the delay. And I use a menu for the mirror. I find that easier, and it's very important that you do not mash Y after this accept. Mash A and B, and then A, B there. Because you could mirror in between that, and you will not be very happy. Because you will lose the monkey and have to go get him again, and it would be an unfortunate. But hopefully, I can do this a few times for you guys, that you will see me push him all the way to the top. And what I'm looking for on the ground is a space. So that's actually too far. So see how I activated the cutscene? So I'm looking for that space. I'm going to hold select between the stairs and Link when I do that. Alright, I think we did this a couple enough times that you guys got the idea with the delay. So we can move on to the next screen. Alright. So I think the goal right now, until the delay is done, is I'm just going to do each screen like 5 times. And by the time I explain it the first time, you'll see it a few times. So what I'm going to do for the first screen is I'm going to walk up, cancel the dash, and then go through the top. So walk up, dash turn right, cancel with an up, and dash out of the room. Just like that.
You're good in terms of the delay coin. I'm not sure you saw that.
Oh no, I'm
We
glad to
sorted.
hear that. Good.
Yeah, we sorted that. You just have quite loud game audio compared to your mic. If you don't mind fixing that for us.
Yep. All right. I
Thank you so
knocked
much.
that down a third. Let me know if that works. All right. So we went through that room. We're going to kind of hold it down right to kind of just bonk off that guy and pick up this pot. That's pretty straightforward. We're going to kind of grab this and try to get the button on the right side. And by pressing down over the button, you'll see I dodged the fireballs. And this is the first small key we're getting. So that was the first path, right? The first path was to go to the left, and now we've mirrored. So this is the second time we're at the entrance. So now we're going to go up the center. We're going to pick up a bomb. And then we're going to go over to here and come down this way. Now, I want to show you this screen because it can be a little tricky. You saw how that jelly got in my way? And this time he did not. So your goal should either be to do 0 slashes if he doesn't get in the way, or 2 slashes. Because if you do 1 slash, there's a chance this fireball might hit you. Even as you're falling, it might hit you. I fortunately was fast enough, but I don't recommend that. So if he gets in the way, it's just slash, slash, and now you can see how the fireball is much lower. So the choices are 0 or 2 slashes. So now we're going to come over here and pick up this pot. Get this chest, which is a small key and mirror. So now we've gone to the front the third time now. Now with the small key, we're going to take our path to the left. So right up here, we're going to menu to bomb. Fortunately, this guy's going to get in the way, so I'm just going to bomb him and try to throw the bomb that way and get down here. This can be a room that you can get a little sweaty with, or you can try to throw it right about here and walk over this, and then you'll be able to fall down. So now you can see we're on where the small key was, but we're on this top layer right now. We're going to make our way up here. And we're going to get the big key. And guess what? We're going to do our favorite thing, which is we're going to mirror again. So now we are here for the 1, 2, 4th time? Yeah, we're on the 4th time. So now that we have the big key, we're going to make our way to the back. So we're going to go to the right side. If this guy gets in the way, just throw a beam at him. Not bad to grab some arrows. If you want, you can just walk this, grab the key. It's very important that you push off of this block. It is possible to go too far right. Well, that's very far right. And just fly off. So you want to make sure that you kind of lean up against this chest when you dash, because then you'll hit that arrow block. Go this way, and it's time to talk about everyone's favorite jump, which I'm just going to do real quick. The jump. What we're going to do, if I can get it, is we are going to put ourselves on a very particular pixel to place the bomb, and then place ourselves on another pixel in order to push ourselves across this railing. And right after I get exploded, I push up to jump across. So how do I do that? Well, there's a few things to talk about. First thing I want to talk about is this tile in particular. This one right here. See how it kind of looks like a ghoul? Kind of has an eye here, and then this is the mouth. Might be a little hard for you to see, but that is what I'm looking for, and you can see that this tile kind of reoccurs. And what I am doing is I am using Link's shadow to make this shape. So my shadow is blocking the left eye, and it is showing 2 rows of pixels. So at the very bottom of the ghoul eye, there's like 1 pixel, and then it starts the eye part. And what I'm trying to do is block my shadow so only 1 part of that left eye is showing. So that's my goal of the first one. And what I want to tell you about is that I'm aiming for that right to the left of the railing. And in order for me to line up with it, I am using pauses because the floor is going to break behind me. So it's a little bit of a Indiana Jones situation of getting this bomb on the right spot and putting yourself in the right spot. But what's great is that when you are pausing to get yourself into the right spot, you are pausing the floor from breaking as well. So what I encourage people to practice before doing this is to practice moving 1 pixel at a time. And if you can see on the right side, you see that number that's going up and down? What I encourage, so I'm at 42, is to try to get to a 43. So what you're trying to do is just press it down and then pause immediately. And there's a knack to it, to getting right out of the pause. But I can assure you this is the best thing I practice before doing a speed run, is I do this a few times. And I'm just trying to go down pause. Now, there's unfortunately an issue that when Link goes up, he actually goes 2 pixels at a time. So if you are in a position that you need to move up 1 pixel, you have 2 choices. One is you go up for 2 pixels and then down for 1. And the math is then you're up 1. Or you do an upright. There is a certain knack to doing an upright, and I can assure you it is a bit tricky. And so I would recommend doing the up for 2 and then down for 1, like I was saying. And practice it. There is a method that I will show you afterwards if you can't get the hammer jump. But I encourage you to try this because I think it is a really cool trick and it's very satisfying when you hit it. And even if it takes you 20 pauses to get onto the right pixel, it is worth the time of doing it. So let me show you again of me getting onto the pixel. So I am trying to get onto this pixel. So I'm 1 high right now. I'm actually went too far down. But you see how long it's taking me. The floor has not started breaking yet. Now I believe I'm on the right pixel. Can you see that there is like a little bit of a T right now below my shadow? So now that I have done that, I'm going to place a bomb to the right. And now I'm going to press up. And I'm going to look at the bomb shadow. Do you see just below the mirror, there is that little bit of a, I don't know, round oval? There are 3 pixels of the bomb, and that tells me I'm on the right spot. If I see any blue, that means I am too high. If I see only 2 or 1 pixels, that means I'm too low. And you're going to do the same thing of pausing until you get onto the right spot. After I know I'm on the right spot, I go over and touch it, and then right when I explode, I hold up. And that gets me across. And just for completionist sake, we get the hammer here. And then we're going to go into this dark maze room. And then we're going to get this small key and then mirror back to the start. We have to get that small key. It's really important. All right. So let's say you gave it your all. You tried your best. But you know what? The hammer jump isn't for you. And you're going to come back to it later. So what I recommend you do is you make your way up here. You can even throw beams at this guy. Get rid of him. You can shoot an arrow at him. You're going to come up here to the right. We're going to dash down here. We're going to dash to the bottom and get this small key. Now, if you are someone that is going to need money to buy a bottle from the vendor, this is a very good spot to kind of collect money to get up to 100. So I would encourage that if that's something you're considering. I'd recommend talking to your mentor about that if that's something you're worried about. So there's a good amount of money there. And we're going to go through this maze over here. This maze is a little tricky, so I recommend taking your time and watching this VOD and maybe going with me through it and taking it into little pieces. This Dodongo is going to fire at you like 99 times out of 100. So if you can kind of sneak a beam to catch him, you can then kill him instantly. We're going to skip that chest, and we're making our way through this maze. We're going to go up, down through this wall, over here, and then after you get past this railing, this is that small key that we got at the end after the hammer. We're actually going to get it beforehand. And now we got to blow up this wall to get to the big chest. And now that we have the hammer, we can then mirror to the top. So it's very important that when you get the hammer, that you have a small key with it. So now we're here for the 5th time in the front. And now we're going to go straight to fight the boss. So we get a bomb. Go over here. Go over here. I know. We're going to kind of backtrack a little bit. Now, this room, we need to hit that switch because our goal is to go through the door on the right. So we actually have to shoot an arrow like this. You just have to be just below the chest. So this would be too high, and that would work. It really is like 3 or 4 pixels like this. So if you want to hold your sword out to make sure you hit it, that's fine. But that is our goal. So once you hit that, you're going to bounce off the block, dash this way. If you do not have beams, there are hearts here. If you do the bomb jump, you'll definitely have to get at least one of those. And we're going to release this button. But unfortunately, when I get off of it, door closes. So we have to push this statue. If you do diagonals, you can move it a little bit quicker. Now we have what I argue is one of the hardest rooms in the game. This is one of those rooms that you're going to practice a bit. And if you try to go really fast, it is very intense. So what I recommend to get through it is you're going to shoot 1 arrow to the left. So walk into the room, shoot right. And if you have the red guy face you, he's going to shoot a beam at you. So by charging your sword and then pressing left, you're going to get the red guy to kind of line up with you by walking right, but he's not going to face you. And that is how I kind of can sneak in to get a shot on him. See how he's not going to shoot at me until I face him? So by charging my sword up and then lining us up together, bang, bang, and then you want to run out of the room. Now this is why we have beams. We want to hit this button. We want to go just north of the switch, but enough that I can turn to get past it. This doesn't take too much trouble, but you want to try to get there. If you did lose beams, you can shoot an arrow at it. And then you got to hit an arrow at this teddy bear. Now, that would have taken more like 10 seconds. I have something set up on the practice hack that it speeds that up. But we would be in the cutscene for a little bit longer, just to warn you. We need to switch to hammer now, because we're going to have to knock this down. Now, if you have sword beams, hit that with a sword beam. If you've gotten hit by something, you can use a boomerang to hit that and then come back to the door. And as you saw, that was a locked door. That's why we needed the small key, because of this door. We want to hammer this guy, come through here, and now we're going to have some fun with some turtles. That's how you want to do that. So, about here is where you're going to do the first hammer. And you're going to and when you come out of this room, you're going to be holding B to charge your sword. So you're going to hit it right about here. And what I like to do is I like to move a little bit more to the left. It just, I don't know, it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable when I hit him again. And right about here is where you release the spin attack. A little less known fact is the spin attack is actually a square. It looks like a circle, but when the enemies get hit, it is a square. So if you can imagine, I'm trying to get a good pause of the circle. The corner, I don't know how else to explain it, but trust me when I say that it's a square. So that's the first hammer. And then the second hammer, well, it helps when they both move up. 1, 2. And then right about here, I will be able to kill those guys. That is the goal. Sometimes these bottom ones will go down. That's just bad luck. And then you just kind of have to wait for those two and work your way up. You can definitely work on some safer strats. I've definitely seen some people do some strats like this. Just be very careful that if you hammer really close to the turtles, you can just flip them over and not hurt them. So it's really important that you smack them right on their bottoms. Fun fact. All right. So now we're going to make our way here. We're going to push this block down. And we're almost at the boss. Hold up this whole way. There's no reason to move over to the right until you get to this door. After you hit this. So just bam, bam. And then you can dash up and cancel your dash. So there's a few ways to fight Homosaur. I'm going to start off with the easy way. Charge your sword walking in, and just facing up, we're just going to hammer him 17 times. That's our goal. And sometimes he's going to wag his tail like that. Sometimes he's going to shoot fireballs, and we're going to talk about that when he does it. But as you can see, I'm able to just face up the whole time. Now you want to do a spin attack, and you just want to slash him 6 more times, just like this. Now I want to warn you, the second phase when the mask is off, he goes really quick, he starts spitting fireballs and moving around. You really want to end that fight as quickly as you can. If you don't like the sword, you can pull out the arrows if you want to. It's the same amount of damage as the sword. So it would take 8 arrows into the crystal. Let me do the fight a couple more times the easy way, and then we can move on to Thieves Town. So let me make a save state here. You want him to move down, because that will give you that chance to kind of like bounce off of him. You see how much I'm able to bounce off of him to work my way down? Alright, so this is a good example of talking about fireballs. So let me interrupt myself with talking about fireballs. They will spawn in that same like triangle formation, and it's random which one explodes first. So you kind of want to relax and see what happens. But once you know the first one explodes, you know what the next two are, because it's always in a clockwise fashion. So since the top one exploded, the next one that's going to explode is the bottom right one, and then the next one after that is the bottom left one. And you see, if I stand pretty much directly up, left, or right from him, the fireballs, it will not affect me. So as you see, I should be counting, but once I see that it explodes, I'm just going to walk up and do a spin attack, and that's going to count as 2 slashes. So once I do this, it'll just be 6 slashes after that. Just, you know, watch him as he moves around. And so that's it. If you feel very comfortable with the spin speed, you should do a spin speed in order to extend your hammer. So now I cannot swing my sword, but I'm just going to do the same thing in hammering, but not hold my sword out because I don't have a sword in spin speed. And what that's going to allow me to do is hammer him like that. Now I'll show you, if I don't have spin speed and I can swing my sword, I cannot do the hammer. So it's really important that you have the spin speed when you go for that. I admit it's a more advanced thing, but if spin speed is something you feel comfortable with, I would highly recommend going for that. It makes the fight a lot faster. Alright, I think that's a good amount of pod. Does anyone have any questions for me? Maybe about the beginning because there was that delay, or if anyone was confused, but I feel pretty good about pod right now. One thing you should be thinking about when you do pod is most enemies are going to be doing 2 hearts of damage. So it's very essential that if there is a screen that you're practicing that you get hit, to look back and decide, why did I get hit? Did I get unlucky because of RNG? Or is there something else I can learn from it? And maybe that's something I would talk to your mentor about. Saving yourself from switching to boomerang in the basement and having beams up to this point, if you remember, is going to save you seconds. So keeping your beams as long as you can is really good. Helmasaur himself does 2 hearts of damage, whether you hit him, his tail, or fireballs. So when you have Sankart, you only really have 3 hits before you're, start beeping and it gets very scary. Yeah, well, exactly. Welcome to Dark World. It's exactly why I wanted to bring that up. So this is where I really encourage consistency to make sure that you keep as much health as possible. So that way it can get you through the levels. You died a Helma a distressing amount. Any tips for the fight? I will tell you that I recommend the spin speed setup. I know that you're a little bit more experienced, Dr. Earworm, when it comes to rando. And I really feel that this is going to get you through the fight faster to finish the second phase. It really depends on how he moves, right? You see, he hasn't really given me a down RNG. He's only giving me this up right. So, see how I kind of have to deal with these fireballs now. And I am really trying to end this fight as quickly as possible, and that's why I use the hammers. Here's a side note that I didn't mention about Mr. Helmasaur. If the fireballs are on screen and you have one more hit to break the mask, the explosion of the mask will actually count to destroy the fireballs. 4, 5. Really helps when I set this up correctly. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You're going to be nice? Nope, you're going to tail whip. So let's see if I can get him to shoot some fireballs and I can show you that. Nope, he's got another tail whip. Hold on. Alright, here we go. And fireballs, and they're gone. So no explosions there. I do want to warn you that if he pins you up against this bottom, which I'm trying to get him to do so, he's going to do another tail whip and hit me. I may not survive this. No, he doesn't want to behave and show anyone that. When he has you really pinned up against the bottom, you cannot press up. It is very important that you either cancel your spin speed and you do a spin attack or something facing left or right, but anytime you press up just a little bit, you're going to run into him. So you just need to kind of chill there and relax for him to do his thing. You can also stand in the middle of these fireballs, by the way, as long as it's not at the bottom. What else can I teach you about the fight? Yes, we did talk about clockwise. All good. Nope, I appreciate that. The way I do the fight is I actually wait for the spin speed or I activate the spin speed as he's going upwards to make sure I get the maximum hits on the way down. So that's a very good thing to practice, that if he goes straight down at you, charge your sword and get 3 or 4 hits, and then you want to do the spin speed as he's working his way up. If he decides to go far left or far right to start, it's very good to just activate the spin speed immediately and then meet him in the center. That's my recommendation for that. It's a very good fight to practice, and when you get really quick at the spin speed hammer setup, you're going to get like 2 or 3 hits after, like in between a cycle of him deciding whether he's going to fireball or his tail. And that's going to end the fight really quickly. So if you can really maximize your distance of activating spin speed and hammering, I know this is on the advanced side for the advanced players, but you should be able to get at least 2 hits in. And then when he starts running around, it should only be 1 or 2 more hits. All right, I think that's about it. Any other questions for Pod? Anything you want me to go over in maybe the overworld when the delay was happening? Feel free to chime in. All right, I think it's time for Thieves Town then. So let's get the heart container and pretend that I got the crystal, and we're just going to start outside Pod. So that whole maze that we did, we have to do it in the reverse. So we're going to dash down, we're going to dash left. I want to warn you guys, you can get unlucky where these ropas will hit you. They just kind of land on top of you. It's just worth going for the dash. I just figured I'd mention that. Dash this way. Oh, it helps when you don't get hit here. Let's see if I can maybe get an RNG where the ropa jumps on me. We're going back basically exactly the same path we took before. Kiki is gone. Kiki has taken his money and he's done. Going to make our way this way. We want to go at the bottom of this to continue with this path, just to let you know. Go over here. And now we have our favorite bird. He has returned. What you want to do is if you move right like this, you can then dash and avoid the bird completely. That's the safe way to be handling the screen. Doesn't help that I got this rope all activated here. All right. So by going along the right side, and then I press right to dodge the bird, and then I can dash. If you want to go for it, you can time a left dash and avoid and get past the bird. I'm gonna warn you, this bird does 4 hearts of damage, and it's only like a half a second or so to do this turn right. So for any beginners, I'd recommend doing that. And then you want to cancel just before this block. This Snapdragon can also do 4 hearts of damage, so be careful with him. You really don't want to bonk against that block. So once you get to the block, you're going to hold down. This is a screen where you're just going to hold down and dash turn here. It's not too bad. But you want to exit the screen on the right side for maximizing this dash here. And our goal is to time a hammer dash to go across here. So what you do is you actually want to nudge on the statue just a smidge. And then when you activate everything, you're going to press hammer and A at the same time. You're going to want to get under this sign. This sign is unfortunately in like the worst place possible. So you want to end your dash right about here to dash across. If you don't want to do that, I'm sure you could just come over here. You may have to push some guys away, and then you can just hammer and dash that way if the hammer dash isn't working for you. But I encourage trying to learn the hammer dash here. All right, we're going to slowly make our way up. So I kind of just hold up left a little bit. And then for this screen, I want to be up flush against this because that spear is going to hit me if I'm not flush against that wall. That's very important. And you want to cut these bushes and go through here. Now we're going to make our way. What I recommend for this screen is just hold down. Walk to about here. It's basically a little bit above this. I actually might be a little too high because you just want to get above this tree. So yeah, you kind of just want to get to the top of this when you do this dash from here. And you're going to go this way. If you did get hit by the bird, there's a chance for a fairy. It's 50-50. We call that the Corey Fairy. Highly recommend grabbing that. And we're going to make our way up to Stumpy. So we're going to kind of talk to him at the top here. He's going to tell us a little story about how he got stuck in Dark World. And he's going to hand us a shovel for listening to his story. Now you want to work your way up here and mirror up here. If you mirror close to Stumpy, you're going to be stuck in a cutscene of meeting him for the first time, which we haven't done yet. And then you will get pushed back into the Dark World. So you really have to make sure that you mirror up here. So I moved up into this upper corner because we are going to shovel up our flute. Now, one thing I'll tell you about shoveling that's nice is that as long as you are facing up, down, or right, you will shovel to the right of you. So that's why I'm leaning more towards the left. So if you hold up and you're more, and there were flowers here, by the way. That's what you're aiming for. So pick up the flute. Now you got the cutscene that we have famously skipped. And we're going to stay in the light world and dash down and go through here. Going to go this way. Just dash your way around. And now we're going to hold our sword because we need to get past this guy. So we're setting up a spin speed. And you see this flower here? This is what I want to touch in order to aggro this red guard. This red guard is known as Usain Bolt. And he goes really fast. He goes almost as fast as you. So it's very important that you aggro him by touching this flower. Because now that he comes down, I can slip by him. So I will do that in one go for you guys. Touch the flower, and then you can get around him. And you want to exit on the left side of the screen. All right. So now this is where you're going to have a conversation with your mentor about what is the next step. It's going to be a little bit different for everyone because it depends on whether this is your moment to pick up a bottle in net or 2 bottles. Are you going to go get powder? Or are you going to go get ether medallion or ice rod? I can tell you that ether and ice rod are mandatory. If you are just starting out, it is probably highly recommended you go get the powder. You got the mushroom before the master or after the master sword, and it is a very good safety that will turn anti-fairies and bunny beams into fairies. So what I will show you that is if you take this path here, this is where you could get bottle and net if you got it, if you did not get it before desert. So you're going to go up this way, get the bottle, and then you're going to come up here and show Sick Kid your net to get the net. He's got a little story to tell you too. He tells you about he's so sick, but he wants you to have fun and go catch some butterflies. So go catch some butterflies. After you get that, you want to, you know what, it's probably better actually from here. You want to dash up to these bushes and then activate your flute. And you want to be right around here and you get a nice little song of freeing the bird, because apparently the bird has been in prison here. So that is your path if you need to pick up bottle and net before activating flute. If you've already done it, let me make a save state a little bit higher. Hold on, let me get back over there. If you had already gotten your bottle and net for desert, then instead you want to dash across this way, and this is that same bush line that you saw before. So you want to line up on this and then activate flute here. So those are your two choices. If you're getting bottle and net now, go straight up first and get them. If not, go along the left side and go straight up. So the other thing I was talking about was powder, ether, and ice rod. So ether and ice rod are required to beat the game. And since we're getting powder and fluting around, this is a very good time to do that. So once you have the flute, you just press Y. And he gives you a big map. You get to just fly wherever you want. I encourage you to do ether and ice rod before powder, because if you get hurt as you're getting ether and ice rod, you can get your hearts back from the assistant by the witch, where we're going to get powder. So let's start off by going to 1. Got some more dead rocks. If you feel comfortable with spin speed, you can set up spin speed to dodge these rocks. Wow, nice RNG. This is very similar to how you got up to Hera. It's the same path. We're taking that same pool up. Okay, so you go into the whirlpool. But right next to Hera, there was this green thing here the whole time. And we're going to get our book, and we're going to get our ether. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it when we were here the first time because we need the Master Sword. So it's a required second climb up. It would be nice if we could do it on our way out of Hera, but we can't. So now that we have the Master Sword, we're finally able to collect the Ether Medallion. And this will be what we use to get into Mire. So now that we have that, we're going to flute again. If you walk left into the bird, you actually save a little bit of time. So if you can get yourself in a position that you can kind of move to the side and move the camera over, you save like 10 frames. So now we're going to go get our ice rod, so we're going to go to 8. And I would encourage doing this path if you were a beginner. You're going to want to go all the way to the top up here, and then you want to switch to bomb, and just place it right on top and wait. If you do anything more aggressive, these crabs do 2 hearts. Sometimes in this grass can be bombs or a guard. There you go. Look at that. So you don't want to lose bombs, and so I encourage you to be pretty careful with this. And that's why I tell you to dash across the top, just place the bomb, and then just walk away. And if any crabs come in your way, give them a little beam or a slash. So now we're going to just go get our ice rod. See how I went up the right side? You don't have to be in the center when it comes to chests. You can just line up with this beam. Line up with this beam right here. Just press A and then just walk out. We're going to make our way back to the flute. And then right in the doorway, all I'm going to do is flute immediately. Because now we're going to go turn in our mushroom to get powder. there may be a problem. I may not have the mushroom. Let me go give myself the mushroom, so we're going to pretend I have the mushroom. Okay, so I have the mushroom. What I'm going to do is hold Y, and when I walk over to the witch, the first frame that she sees me, I'm going to give it to her. Holding Y here is very good. So now, once I've given it to her, we have to screen transition off, go this way, and then back on, and that will cause the powder to spawn inside. So, pick up our powder, and if we were low on health, we can talk to her, and she would fully recover any of the health that we lost on the mountain or when we went to get to the ice rod. So that way you have full health for Thieves Town. So now that we're done with that, we are going to go back to Kakariko. So back to 3. So I pressed right a couple times. It always starts on 1. Going to dash this way. We're going to try our best to be on this path. And when we're on this path, we don't hit this guard. And then we're going to go like this. So this screen is called 3 Musketeers. And what I would recommend is menuing to hammer here and hammering this guy and then making your way out. I think that is the most efficient and smooth way to get out of this room. There is a way to avoid having to hammer anything, and I'll show you that really quickly. But I also want to demonstrate that if you were low on health and you didn't talk to the assistant, you forgot, you're like, ah, shoot. If you bonk into this, you can get some apples, which are hearts as well. Now, when you bonk against this, you're going to alert all the guards. So you're gonna wake up the neighborhood is what I'm saying. So just be careful that if you bonk this tree, just be wary that if you left any of these guards alive, they're going to come after you. Now, I just wanted to show you that you can get underneath this guy to dash up. It saves about a half a second. It's a little challenging. The hardest part is that you want to dash here. The trick is you don't want to spawn the guard above you too soon. If he starts walking down too early, he actually meets you by that tree. And that's why it doesn't work. So by getting underneath him and spawning him later is what gets underneath him. And I'll show you. So if I go too high, bop, see? Now I'm getting hit. So that's why switching to hammer and hitting him with a hammer is a good idea. So I'll show you that to you one more time. See how low I am there, and then I can get through. Alright, so basically what we're doing is we're heading to Thieves Town, and there is a portal here that we're going to get. So we're going to make our way this way.
You're at the 1 hour mark, just so that you're aware. You're
perfect.
doing good. Keep it up.
Thank you. So we dashed out of this, and we canceled with a down right. By canceling with a down right, we continue facing down. You don't want to cancel this with a right and then have to switch. So by canceling with a diagonal, you'll be able to hammer dash through. If you don't like hammer dashing, it's not your thing. Don't worry about it. Just dash up to the peg, hammer it. And you want to actually enter this on the left side. It's a little bit faster of transitioning into the Dark World. Now we're going to dash across the bushes this way. I just want to warn you, if you bop into that, he kind of spits out a bomb. It's a little bit dangerous, but you kind of can get the dash off before, even if you bounce off him. And sometimes a fairy will pop out of this. So if you are low on one, you could try. I want to warn you. She sometimes gets away pretty easily. You can't catch her if she goes across the trees or not. But if she kind of hangs out here, you might be able to squeeze and get her. But I would try that if you could. So now we're going to just kind of make our way to Thieves Town. We're going to go across the top. I don't know. They're bleachers, I guess. And that is going to get us into this pathway here. So you're going to get this dash right here. You're going to pick this up from the left side. And when you nudge against this, it kind of pushes you a little bit. It keeps you high. And then you'll dash into this. So I want to show you that if you are low on health and you got beat up in the Dark World a little bit, there is a bunny beam here. Now, what's great is that you don't have to pick up the pot. If you know there's a bunny beam there, you can just powder it while it's on while the pot is still there, and now you can bottle it if you need to. And then once you do what you need to do, our goal is to eventually go over here. So you dash across to the right and then dash out. You have two RNGs here. We got the one RNG where this fire snake is going to meet us at the top. What we're going to do is cancel our dash in the top lane on the bottom, and we're going to dash immediately right. That will give me enough time to not get hit by the fire snake and to kind of get a little head start of running, and then we quick hop off and go this way. Let's see if I can get the other RNG for you and show you. We're in Thieves Town, by the way. There we are. Let's see what we got this time. Nope, got the same one, so I'm going to just immediately dash and quick hop. Careful of this guy, by the way. That red guy can sometimes get in your way. If he's standing right here, you should try to jump off here instead to avoid him, because you're going to lose 2 hearts. I did not make this quick save. So let's see. Nope, didn't get it again. Yeah. Maybe I gotta leave and re-enter. So basically there's an RNG where he goes straight down and you'll see him like instantly. And if you get that RNG, what you want to do instead of dashing is actually walk to this spot and quick hop down. Just hold up here and dash turn to the right. If you're quick enough, I've never seen this guy get in your way. Like he's going to spit because he sees me, but I wouldn't worry about that. So it's just hold up and dash right. This screen is a little tricky. What you want to do out of this is dash right and then dash down. That's our goal. And there are a couple things that are in the problem. One is that guy. If this guy stops and sees you, you don't want to dash down from here because this guy is going to hit you. So your choices are either to dash past this corridor and hit him and then dash down, or you can just cancel your dash and walk down from here. So just be careful if this guy sees you. It's not too often, but it happens enough that it's worth noting. This also, as you can see, we can kind of like hide underneath these little pathways. There's a clever bunny beam waiting for us right here. So if you are too slow in this area, this bunny beam will actually hit you. And so you really want to make sure that you get past it. So by dashing right, so that was a little bit scary. He kind of stopped, but then he walked away. So I would have stopped my dash and I would hold down through that. And as you can see, I am still Link. But if I wait a long time here, there's the bunny beam that I'm worried about. So this is a good screen where you actually could hold down right if you felt like you didn't want to stress about any of the dashes, and you will beat the bunny beam. You just have to hold down right the whole time. So you don't have to do these dashes if you don't want to. By being along the right side, you will go up these stairs, and then you're going to quick hop down, because our goal is to go under here. And we're going to get a big key. Fantastic. This is a good screen I like to talk about. We are going to try to basically reverse what we did before and go up on the underneath on the next screen. Because you can't see Link on this side, it's kind of annoying to know when exactly you have control of him. So what I do underneath that you can't see is I'm going to press up to see this screen kind of move upwards, to pan the camera up. And once I see that the camera is moving up, I dash turn right. So I'm going to do it a few times to show you. So you see how I hold up and the camera moved a little bit, and then immediately once I saw the camera move, I held A and then pressed right. That is how I find it easier to time what I'm doing. Do you see the camera moving up just a little bit before I do that? Now your goal is to dash, well, is to dash along this right here. And even if this red guy gets in the way, you are going to actually sword him as your dash up, and you're going to diagonal up left around this block to the left side. Because our goal is to stay on the left side as much as possible. And I see a lot of people go around the right side, and it's a little bit slower. And then once you get to right about here where the bubble cannot hit you, you're going to dash out. So let's do the whole screen again. See how I diagonaled there at the bubble? I'll try to pause on this time. Right here, I'm going to diagonal. See how I avoid that bubble like that? You kind of can walk into the bubble a little bit. Well, not like that, but you see what I'm talking about. I guess you got to kind of have to catch him Let me start over by the big key and I'll show you again. It's a little hard to break down. You see how I kind of diagonal there? Then you want to dash out. Now, by dashing out on the left side, you are lined up with this stairwell. And now we have another fire snake that decides whether he wants to go up or down. Now, this fire snake goes down, so we're going to just dash immediately down, go upright. Cancel with an upright will allow me to face upwards, and then I will unlock the door here. If I wait until the front of the door, then it's going to be a little bit slower to open the door to beat that fire snake. Now, you see how that fire snake this time went up in the corner? You see, watch the fire snake. You see how it goes? Okay, it goes down there. Okay, that time it went up. I'm watching that fire snake, so when he goes down, I just dash immediately. Since he went up this time, I walk up a little bit because I want him to be off screen. Let me show you why I do that. Look how laggy this is. Do you feel that? Because, man, I feel like 5 years just passed. It feels pretty bad. So, you want to walk up to about here, and that despawns the fire snake for you to dash right and then dash up. And again, you're going to hold upright to open the door as soon as you can, and then snap into the door. Alright, we're going to do a key dash on this room. After I grab this key, we're going to line up with this torch. So usually right about here is where I kind of nudge. And by lining up with this torch, I cancel with up. This allows me to stay lined up with the torch. And then I am going to do a dash turn here to get out of the room. So, and it looks like this. Grab the key, and right about here, I'm going to dash turn, and then dash turn out, and I'm out of that room. This door is really annoying. Because this is a key door in a very particular place, which is called a multi-tile. It's like in the middle of it, a super tile. You cannot hold up left out of this door. It is very laggy. And there is a concern that this blue guy is going to just beeline it right at you and get you. So what you have to do in this doorway in particular, you have to hold left to walk out of it and then move up into this lane for you to dash. That is what you want to do. Because if you hold diagonal, there is a chance that he is just going to get you. Apparently he's being very kind right now, but usually he can get you. So hold left up, and you want to nudge this block, because as you can see, that fire snake is trying to get you. As long as you nudge this block and are lined up at the bottom, the fire snake will not hurt you. And this is another good example of a place where you want to diagonal to cancel your dash. This is a very good room I like to go over. There's a lot of things going on. I will tell you what I like to do is I just like to walk in and hammer, and that will allow me to decide what I want to do in this room to get around these stars. So, since the bottom one blocked the path that I want to take, this is the path I want to go, if I can. This is the fastest path here to get across. But if that path is blocked, then your second choice is this top path. Now, you have to be careful about the top path. Is not only is this conveyor belt pushing you into the spike, so you have to start a little bit higher, but the anti-fairy is right in the way. Look where this anti-fairy goes. You see that? Anti-fairy is right exactly in the lane I need to be. So I want to wait for him to move before I take this path. So I'm going to do this room a few times. If I kill that guy, I'm taking that bottom path every time. No problem. No problem. That's my way out of this room. Okay, he blocked it, so I waited for the anti-fairy, and then I went across this way. The only way the top guy blocks it is if he goes down left like that. Actually, that one actually looks pretty fine. But that is the only thing I'm looking for the top guy. So I can show you different RNGs. That's the only one that blocks him right there. So as long as the top one doesn't do that, the top path is open. Now, as you can see, this is the worst RNG. Both paths are blocked right now. So what I encourage you to do is to go around the statue this way. If the top path is not working for you, just go under the statue this way. It's only like a half a second loss. Not a big deal. This is a very good room to practice for intermediate players. And I highly encourage you to practice flow charting, whether you want to go down or up. All right. I think it's time to talk about the most famous room in Thieves Town. We like to dub it Hell Hallway. Let me show you what's going on. We have conveyors pushing us down into these spikes. You have this guy to deal with. You have a fire snake to deal with. You have this Patrick Star to deal with. You have that Patrick Star to deal with, and this anti-fairy. And you're trying to get to the top. And the main thing I wanted to show you is that path the anti-fairy was doing. He will always do this. It will always get stuck between the top left statue and this statue here 3 times before it goes somewhere else. So that's very important to mention when you're dealing with these enemies. So if I have to move to the side, I want to go up the right side, and that has a better chance of dodging the anti-fairy. If you end up having to go up the left side, there is a very good chance you're going to meet the anti-fairy in this left spot. Alright, now that we understand how annoying this room is, let's talk about how we should get through it. There is a perfect pixel right in the center that we're trying to get that I haven't gotten yet. And what it will do, there you go, is it'll get through all these spikes. That's the hardest part. So our goal is to try to dash up the center. If you are off by 1 pixel, you're going to run into one of these spikes. So you see how my ears are like well in line in this conveyor? That is the goal. So we are going to dash from neutral because that's going to give us a better chance of landing on this pixel. If you walk a little bit and then dash, you have a much harder time of landing on it. So from a neutral, hold A, and then try to press up to land on it. Just work on that as your first goal. Now, after you've done that, you need to watch this first star and decide if you're going to get by him, which obviously I'm not going to. But you see, it could be a straight path if no enemy gets in my way. That's not always the case, but I just wanted to show you what it kind of can look like if you hit it. It is possible to go straight through the door, but you do have to be careful about that. Now, if this star just does get in the way, or something gets in the way, I want to show you. No, I got another good path. Let's see. So I generally am watching that first one, and I move a little bit to the left like this, and then I will move to the right and hopefully get to the top. That's my plan B. When this doesn't go well, maybe I don't hit the pixel, or the guy, or something gets in the way. Sometimes, like that time, this guy got in the way. There's no way I could have been on the center path, so I have to purposely move to the left a little bit to get around this guy. So now I will probably move towards the center. Of course, I get hit by the spike. See, look at this mess. Look at this mess. It's awful. But your goal is probably to aim for this upper right to get through the door. It is nice to have an anti-fairy here, because if you have powder, and I didn't take a save state, you can powder this guy if he comes back. Maybe he won't come back. Well, here's a nice thing I want to show you. If you go through this transition, you reset the room, and guess what? He comes right to you every single time. And you can do this as many times as you want, because he will return and come right to you. So being at the top of the room is really good. And we are going to return back to this room after we're done in the attic. So you will have another chance at this anti-fairy if you need. So that's a challenging room that I recommend you practice a lot. So you should be on hammer here. In this corner, if you hammer, you will be able to hit both the switch as well as get this key in a pot. You're going to walk over here to go in between the spikes and then dash out. That is the more advanced way of dealing with this room. What you could do if you wanted to, you can grab this pot, throw it down there, and then walk through this way too. Crickets are really annoying. They do 2 hearts of damage. This guy sometimes gets in your way. I recommend giving him a hammer if he gets in your way. So we're going to make our way this way. And now we're going to switch to bombs. All right. So there's a lot of things going on. These crickets are really annoying. So I just want to kill them just to demonstrate something before we do the room. What you want to do in this room is you want to place a bomb and you want to blow up that floor. And in order to blow that up, you need to be between these tables. Because if I'm here, I'm going to overthrow it and not blow it up. So that's why you need to be down here when you throw this bomb to explode this. This is necessary. And if you do not, and make sure you see the floor open up. Otherwise, you will have to come back and you will unfortunately lose a few minutes. So you could work on trying to prep the bomb. So that way you can just get to the spot and throw up. If you don't feel comfortable with that, just place the bomb here, place up, and make sure that you see that open up. Because I just want to show you that I can leave before it explodes. And guess what? The floor is not blown up. So I want you to be careful about that. This is a very good speedrun room. The sooner that you can place the bomb down and is going to let you, get the bomb to explode sooner. So the earlier you can do it is better. If you're just starting out, I wouldn't worry about it. Just slash some crickets, get to this spot where I'm here and throw it. But I figured I would at least show you how to do this the quick way, if you guys were interested. You see how I timed it with a sword slash to get out of the room? I throw my sword here. Then I can get out. The idea of this sword slash is because there is an RNG like this, where this cricket will go right, and if he walks into this beam, he's gonna go down every single time. So it's required to do a sword slash to time the bomb explosion. So might as well just do it 100% when this cricket either comes down or doesn't come down. And I just always take this path. So we're going to dash out of here. You can hold your sword through this. And if there's a chance that the cricket kind of like beelines it at you and you don't get the dash immediately, you can protect yourself by holding your sword out. So I'm more than happy that if you wanted to, just hold your sword through all of these here. Just like this. Hold your sword out and then press A to dash. It is a little bit safer. All right, here's a good screen to talk about. I am watching the top spike to be exactly where I paused it. When the spike is completely past this blue block, maybe one more frame, that is when I just press the A button or dash through the room. And I will clink against that and I will leave the room as fast as possible every single time. So I'm just watching that and I will clink against the second one. See, that's too early. There. That's what I'm looking for. Here's another chance at the anti-fairy, like I said, if you needed to heal up. And we're going to go to the right now that the block is blue. Down. Here is a good place to transition to hammer. I am watching the star that's to the right of me. If he goes down, I go up. If he goes up, I go down. Because I'm looking to have a free path here or a free path here. So let's just do that again. So I'm watching the star. He went down again. So I'm going to go up and then I can go around him. If you need one, there's a nice bomb here to pick up. Hold down left out of this room and hammer him. You could try to press left and then down, but sometimes this guy will actually just like stop, and the last thing you need is to get hurt by this guy. So what I like to do out of this room is just hold down left out of it, and then you're going to hammer down. Just like that. Pick up this block. You are strong, and dash out. Hold down, and you're going to turn this way. If you would like to, this guy can be really annoying. Sometimes he can see you and he'll just start like spitting beams up this straight path and can be really annoying. So if you wanted to play it safe, Unfortunately, I did not put my save state where I wanted to. Just kill him. Just get rid of him. I guess I would say dash to him. Just hammer him and get him out of the way. Even though it's a key door, this is actually requires a big key. Whenever I watch a lot of beginners play this game, they're like, oh man, I don't have a small key. There's a big 0 next to my name. Big key unlocks it. Just have to hold up against it. I just wanted to show you guys that along the right side, there are hearts here. And guess what? We got another bunny beam if you'd like to refill your bottles. This is usually a very primary place to do it because it's kind of on the way. This is we have to pick up the lady and we have to pick up the small key. So this is kind of like on the way to get this one. I think there's just a rupee here, right? Oh, it's magic. Well, I guess if you needed magic needed magic for powder, I guess you could grab that. So let's do this room. Kill him. Just kind of walk up. Anything gets in your way, just slash it. Grab the key. Talk to her if you want to do the bunny beam to get that. Otherwise, I would say dash out of this room and then dash out. This is just a dash across. This is a key dash, so you don't want to hold left in this room. You just want to stand still and then just dash, and then you'll key dash. If you press left a little bit, you're unfortunately going to... Oh, I just timed it perfectly, apparently. There you go. Technically, every, like, I think 8 frames, or 8, yeah, you would be able to key dash. I got lucky the first time, so that's not going to happen. The bonk is going to happen more often. So just be neutral, and then dash through that. Hammer peg this one. Look where I am when I grab these Titan mitts. Look how right I am of this big chest. No reason that you have to walk to the center. And then you're going to want to dash out. But let's say you mess up, right? You bonk on this and you're like, oh no, I'm trapped in this prison. You can actually bonk across this chest and get across. I'll show you how to do that one more time, and maybe I'll do it the quicker way. So hammer, grab the chest, hold up right, and dash out. Again, I will show you that if you get stuck in prison, you want to bonk across this. Well, bonk across the chest, and then you can get across the hole. Alright. This is a good room to talk about. There's a lot going on. This blue jelly gets in your way. If you have a beam, pop them. And then you want to run along the right side. And then our goal is to get across here. Now, pop. You see how I'm like a little bit leaning to the right on this conveyor? Our goal is to be in the center. But if you can lean a little bit more to the right, that conveyor that's pushing, I guess, outwards is going to catch me on the right side. And that is what's going to allow me to go along this right side and then cancel to get the dash out. If he does not spark, just go to the spot and dash. Oh, also, we're walking this the whole way, by the way. By walking this, we'll be able to do it. If you do not have beams, my encouragement to when he sparks is to go up the left side like this. And then you're going to have to deal with this and react to how he deals with you. There are times that people talk about a strategy of doing a slash and then dashing up. I don't find it to be very consistent. I've sometimes, plenty of times, either gotten hit by him or the red guy. So I encourage you to dash along the left side and then have to walk around this guy. It's a little scary. It would be nice if you have beams to deal with the blue guy when he sparks, but that's my recommendation when it comes to that. All right, pick up this pot right here. This has arrows. I always pick up these arrows. It's very quick to grab these 5, so grab that on the way out. This is a pretty annoying screen. If you can dash and kill that guy, you are 9/10 through the room. Sometimes he walks down and sometimes he walks up. If he walks up, he will kind of jump on top of this pot that we need. And what I recommend doing is just slashing to kill him and then picking up the pot. If you are good enough, you can hammer him at the same time. But I'm going to let you know, it requires a very precise hammer to kill him and open the pot at the same time. So I would recommend doing the slash. If this is not working for you, you can walk this. Costs you a little bit of time, but you can just walk to get to that pot. If you need it, there is health here. If you get this health on the way in when you got this small key when we were here before, do you remember this is the same one where I came over and key dashed here? This is that same hallway, by the way. So if you got the heart before, it won't be here on the way back. So it's up to you if you want to save it for our blind fight, or if you want to do it beforehand because you're very low on health. Now it's time for the blind fight. So let's talk about this. So, when you walk into the room, just hold up. You don't want to make any left or right movements to set up the first phase. There are 3 phases of blind. After you hit him 3 times, his cloak is gonna like fall to the ground. Head is gonna start flying around like a I don't know, a droid, and start shooting fireballs at you. And then he's gonna stand back up, and now he has one head floating around and one on the body. And then you have to fight him, hit him 3 more times. Then he's going to fall back down. And then there'll be 2 heads floating around. And then once you kill the 3rd one is when he finally dies. So you need to hit him 9 times. What's important to talk about is that whether you do a sword poke, a slash, a spin attack, they all count as 1 hit. So the goal is to hit him 9 times. So, let's break it down to 1 phase at a time. So, we're just going to walk up and charge our sword and kind of just wait here. This is where Blind starts to complain and says, "Oh my god, the light. Remember that bombable floor we did? We've kind of trapped him into getting hit by the light." So, we're going to press L and R, and we're going to sword poke, sword poke, sword poke. And do you see how he kind of like moved a little bit to the right there? And then fell down? That means we are on script. This is known as a scripted fight, where if you do exactly what I recommend, you will kill him without getting hit. So let's do the first cycle again. And obviously this is probably the easiest one that I hope you guys can nail pretty quickly. 1, 2, 3. And all I did was I charged my sword and then moved a little bit down to make sure I hit him. And then I did that 3 times. Yeah. Pretty simple to explain. LR to cancel the text box, and then hit him 3 times. Now I want to show you that if you release the sword too early, you can do a spin attack, and we don't want to do that. See how I got a spin attack? You really want to make sure the sword retracts completely to make sure that you don't do a spin attack. So now I let go. Now I let go. Now I let go. And that is what's going to allow me to hit him 3 times as quickly as possible. And what's nice is when you hold your sword over his head, that will hit him the first frame that he is available to get hit. So I think that's good for the first phase. So let's make a save state. 1, 2, 3. Now the first fireball he shoots, he's going to hit you. So you need to dodge this. So holding right here or something, whatever you need to do to get out of the way. That first fireball will always hit you, and then that fireball will always come to hit you as well. So that's always good to know. So is it like the first fireball and the 5th one? 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that one is the one. That random one actually almost hit me. That one will always go for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's the 6th one. Now, by the time you've gotten to the 6th one, you're going to do something to dodge it. We're going to dodge not only the head itself, but the fireball at the same time for the 2nd phase. So what we're going to do is charge our sword here. And then just as he gets to me, I kind of do like an up and down. See how I'm just have this sword poke ready to hit him in the head. So this is going to push me down. Unfortunately, as I was pausing, that happened. So let's just do it. Down, and then let's try it one more time. I like that. That is where you want him to end up. You can have him end up a little bit more to the right, but that is the goal. So it's a left, down, and then right. Now you're going to do a little bit more of dodging, and I'm going to kind of do the same thing, right? Up and down, and I'm going to be facing right instead for this one. And we're going to hit it here. Fortunately, it's very hard to do this as you're trying to break it down. So, up, down, and then left. That is the goal. So let me just make a save state for the third phase. It would help if I actually do the second phase correctly, right? Okay, so again, when the first fireball comes out, it's going to be towards you. Oh, there it is. I was waiting for it. It really helps when you hit it the right way. Down. I feel like beams are messing me up just a little bit. Down, and then left. And that's where you want to kill him. Right around there. With beams, you actually hit the last two hits a little bit sooner, so most of the time when you don't have beams, you actually kill him around here. Just to point that out there. If the fight was going a little bit scary and you're like, you know what, I kind of want to chill, you can kind of like just hit him with beams. Those counts as the hits as well, so you can kind of walk on the other side. And I just wanted to mention, if you were really scared of him, like you were down to like 1 or 2 hearts, I highly encourage using pauses in this fight. So try to get a hit in, trying to run away. Unfortunately, I got hit there. But you can see that by pausing, I can see exactly when, by dodging that fireball, I can get in as best as possible. So take your time if you're down to 1 or 2 hearts. I want to warn you that it can be a bit costly if you die. Maybe if you have a fairy, it's not so bad. But pausing is a very good technique to be dealing with any bosses without the script. And he goes to the bottom. Just try to attack him from the top or the sides. Don't ever attack him from the center. It's really hard to reach him when he's at the top. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Basically, you don't want to attack him from the bottom. When he's at the bottom, you can definitely slash him at the top of his head. Yeah, there's no problem with that. But if you don't want to be attacking him from the bottom like this. I wanted to show you that if I died, what happens when you actually... I have to turn that off. I have it set that if I die, it's not gonna reload, and I just want to show you how to deal with blind if you die. So suppose blind got you, unfortunately. It happens. So you start at the beginning, and we're gonna go straight to the fight. So let's go back to here real quick. Notice you start at 5 hearts. Gonna go up here. If you want to get extra hearts, there's an extra pot here to get a heart. And then we can, of course, get the heart that's right side outside of Blind's hideout. Blind's room is right here. All right. So what happens when you come back in? He's ready to go. He's got his dukes up. There's no walking to the center for this. So what I recommend you do is immediately dash up and get a couple of slashes in like that. Kind of helps that I have beams, right? It's pretty nice. But unfortunately, there's kind of no script to this, right? You kind of just want to use beams if you can. See how I'm just dodging? 1, 2, 3. Kind of nice to have beams. Maybe I should try this without beams, and I'll show you how annoying this is. It is definitely a much more challenging fight if you can handle this. Let's see if I can give myself 6 and do this. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to wait. And he's going to have to make a whole full circle, so I have to dodge this head one more time. 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to have to wait again. See, I'm going to wait down here, because these heads are going to have to do 1 rotation at the top again. Oh, fortunately I got shot that time. Oh, now we're at 4 hearts, so you know what? I'm going to start pausing, because I'm scared. think I should be okay. See that fireball's coming at me? And I got him. Ooh, we did it. Victory. So that is the way to do it if you unfortunately die to him. I do encourage you to get both hearts on the way in. And like I said, the best thing to do in the beginning is dash straight up and slash right. And he's always going to move to the right first. Try to get like those as your first 3 hits. So you kind of dash up, slash, hit him here, which is going to push you back to here. And you should be able to at least get the first cycle here. But take your time with it. I think that's about it with Thieves Town. So does anyone have any questions for me about that?
Doing really good on time.
Yeah.
While people are thinking of questions or typing that up, I'll just add to what Grid said. When you're entering the room, I think you maybe mentioned it, but I could have missed it. If you have any sort of accidental cardinal or like a left or right or like an accidental diagonal, the script will get messed up.
Yep.
So from
No,
the very
I
moment
can
you
at least show
enter.
that. No, that's actually a very good
Okay.
thing to demonstrate. Good idea. So what we talked about when
Okay,
we
and then I
enter is
have 2 other things for you after that, so I'll
okay.
let you go ahead and show
Cool.
that.
So like I said before, you kind of just want to walk straight up and do your sword. And so that pushes you straight up. Do you see that? Now, if you accidentally move to the left, you will see that I will have to like correct myself. You see how I keep getting pushed to the side? So that's why it's very important in the beginning to just hold up the whole time and then down to get to the spot that you want to. I actually want to see something. What if I just moved a little bit off to the side and then straight up? Oh, there you go. So you know what? As long as... I mean, that's going to might mess up the script later, so I don't recommend that. But at least you can get the first 3 hits after you place her on the spot. As long as you go up and down, you can at least get the first 3 hits. So, no, good idea to show that, Gretchen. What was your other thing you were going to mention, Pops?
Oh yeah, you can kind of tell. So if the head spins to the left, so counterclockwise instead of clockwise, you'll know after phase 1 of the script if you're on or not. Like the mentees will start to pick up on that and recognize. Um, a couple of questions that have come up recently, if time allowed and there is enough time, if you're good with it, were to talk about just some general dash lines in overworld movement, and then show the stopping place for the races. Some of the mentees do not understand like when segments end.
Sure. Are there any particular dash lines that you would recommend? I feel like I did a good amount on Thieves Town
Um,
to point them out, but if you have a couple...
maybe like maybe something from the previous sections that
Oh,
we went over, maybe like leaving I'm just trying like nothing really comes to mind as like a specific example except maybe like the bridge screen leaving Eastern heading to like after you get the boots, like that's where runners are kind of just dashing and not really thinking
sure.
about where they're dashing, thinking of what screen comes next, and then maybe getting a few questions here and there, but I'm not quite sure. Like this feels wrong, but I don't really know what's correct. And then where do they go to find out what is correct if maybe their mentor isn't available to answer in a timely fashion?
Yeah, no, I have no problem going from Eastern Palace to Desert if you want to spend the 10-15 minutes doing that. Um,
Um, yeah, whatever the chat wants. Just maybe a couple examples of just some like good dash lines. Like, what are you thinking about when you're doing this movement? You're probably not thinking about anything at your level.
right.
But yeah.
So my goal is to be running against the mountain diagonals as much as I can. So let me just start with the Eastern spin speed right here. And then we'll make our way to book, and maybe something will jog some ideas at least. So this is kind of similar to what we were doing before, but my goal is to be dashing along this diagonal. It will actually kind of boost me a little bit. And so my movement when I do this, get rid of that stupid guard, is I want to hold down to about here. And then I turn. And as you can see, I am kind of leaning against this wall. If you start your dash here, let's see if I can do this, you'll see I'm only going down, and it does not benefit you. So it's really important that you walk all the way down to here before you start taking this dash. For the dash line on this screen, you actually want to nudge a little bit higher to avoid this guard. You don't want to clink against this guy. And so what I'm doing is I'm holding up left out of this screen, and that gives me that little bit of boost to avoid that. Because if I clink against this guy, now this bowman gets involved, and it gets really annoying. So it's a dash this way, a dash this way, and a dash this way. And as you can see, I can get 3 dashes out of this. You want to do as many long dashes as you can. Here's another screen. We're going to get 1 long dash all the way to book. You want to kind of lean up here and go straight down. Here you want to go underneath this tree. So it's really important that when we cut down these bushes, or maybe go a little bit lower, you're going to want to get your dash all the way to... I'm out of arrows. It's funny. Basically, this nudge is going to tell you where to go. If it helps, maybe you can even talk about the height of this path. But by dashing all the way down to this spot, you can then maybe do a little bit of a walk down, and that will give you this dash line to go over here. This is just a diagonal. Here's another good one. You're going to dash right here, and you want to go underneath that to go across to get your book. Now, after you get your book, you do want to spin speed out of here if you feel comfortable with it. It is much faster, but if you don't like the spin speed, you can basically kind of do the opposite path that we did and dash across that. This is a very difficult screen. I don't know why it's so hard, but it is. You want this guard to see you, and that is what gets you past him. If he does not cooperate, I generally just kill him or slash him a couple times. But you kind of want to make sure that he gets out of your way, and so you can dash right. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the gloves, so we have to go up. So I'm going to dash this way. Again, I'm trying to take these diagonals and try to do 1 long dash. This is a screen you want to hold up right a little bit to get it past him. This is probably one of the more difficult screens, or the next couple, so let's talk about this one. So you want to, right here, stop lined up with this bush if possible, because you want to be off the water when you dash. So what a lot of people do, including myself, is I actually menu to book here. So by menuing to book, well, it helps if I had the book. But let's say I had the book. I'm going to hold down out of this menu, and it will cancel my dash. So by pausing here, I am trying to line up where I need to go. Now, I'm a little bit more to the left, but that works for me. But when you are controlling your cancel of dash with menu, you want to hold down out of the menu to make sure you stop, so that way you get this dash line. So let me give myself the book, and I can show you that. It's called Water
Yeah, so
Dash.
using menus in a smart way is helpful for the mentees. And if you notice, you can see that coin is trying to move in the direction of where he's going to go next. So if he's going to go to a screen that's west, he's going to try to stay on the west side of the screen that he's coming from previously. He's not going to be like completely on the right, far east side of the screen, if he's heading towards desert.
Right, exactly. So by going along this diagonal, we're exiting on the left side, because eventually I'm going to be going into the bottom left corner. This would be a waste of time to come
Yeah.
over to the right side, as Pops was saying.
And we do have one person in chat hoping that you could go over the dash lines on the way to West Side Breeze for the people who don't get fake flippers. And this is also the 10 minutes warning for the remainder of the stream.
Okay. Yep. Nope, that works for me. Okay. Nope, I have no problem showing you the different path of not fake flippering. I just want to go over this one screen. This one screen, you want to dash and line up with this bush. if you take this path and dash down, and then line up with this bush, you will then hit this diagonal. And I can assure you, even though the bird looks really scary, and so does that guard, you will never get hit if you take this path. Just like that. But yes, let's talk about if you are not fake flippering and you are just about to leave desert. So you want to obviously go this way. Lean over here, go up to the top mouth like this. And this is about where you are going to diverge, right here. So let me make a save state. We're going to go up instead. We're going to dash up to this block, and now that we got the gloves from desert, we're going to lift that and chuck it, and we're going to go north. We're going to go over to this side, which we don't see too often, right? Up this way, dash across this way, dash across this way, make our way. And this should look a little familiar, because this is about where we're heading to Castle Tower. And then you're going to basically line up exactly where you would have popped out of the whirlpool if you fake flipped it, which is right there. So I did that really quickly, and I have no problem breaking down each screen, but I just wanted to show you at least the path to start with, how we're going to make our way to the old map. So first thing we did was we took this diagonal straight up. Pretty easy, right? Dashed up, picked up this block, and then went straight up again. This part you kind of have to walk around a little bit. These trees are a little bit in the way. And, oh yeah, I guess once you get past this tree, you can just dash straight up. If you want to, you can cut that. Oh, you can't cut that back. So you got to go above the bushes here. Cut this. So you want to go here, up, and you're going to go to the left here. And I believe you can just cancel, well, not along those bushes, but you can cancel right around here. And that will, once the bombs explode, allow you to cut through to this. And if things get a little scary, don't be afraid to just walk it. You don't save that much time from having to do dashes from here. I always recommend, especially this spot right here, I generally recommend just walking. And now you'll be on the same path as everyone else once you get over to this spot, because this is where everyone pops out of the water that fake flippered. They popped out of this ladder here. And then you're on your way to the old map. What about the reverse direction when you're heading towards the tower? Does nudging the bushes get in the dash line cost more time than water? No. Water costs more time than bushes. Answer your line there. I'm not sure what you mean by the reverse direction when you're heading to the tower. Are there any cues for the dash in the Kiki maze? Not really, unfortunately. If you can explain your question better, Yuta, I have no problem answering you, but I'm just gonna go help for a nap real quick. Oh, like the Master Sword when I'm approaching the castle? You know what? I'm right here for a nap. I'll go answer your question afterwards. So let's pretend you got the Master Sword, right? So you came from this screen over here. And then you dash down, right? This is where you come out of the mountain when you do a Master Sword. So you kind of make your way this way. And you go across this way. Then you go straight down. What I encourage everyone to do is just hold down right up to this point. Well, I kind of do switch to a down. I shouldn't say that. So just walk to this part and then dash in between the bushes like this. Then you're able to kind of ride that a little bit and then go across this way. I hope that answers your question. To get to the castle tower. Alright, let me show Fernap as best I can this dash that I know he's referring to. Get over to the monkey. So, let me make a safe state here. I generally diagonal to about here. So I guess if you see these green leaves, that's where I diagonal to, and then I dash. And you can see, you can dash all the way up to this wall. This is where you would bonk. So I probably cancel it a little bit earlier than I should. I probably should experiment it with this myself. But this dash, I cancel to about here. And that's probably too early. I should be canceling it to around here, huh? Yeah, that's interesting. But that is the best I can explain. Because, I mean, kind of when you pick up the monkey, you kind of get some lag. It's kind of weird. So the pickup animation as the monkey appears actually lags it just like slightly. And I think that is what's mistiming me from trying to have this like really sweet connection against this wall here. So I hope that answers your question at least. That's the path you were getting wrong? Okay. Well, I'm glad I was able to answer that for you. Does anyone else have any questions at all? Ask about anything the whole run if you want. You can do some light world. I'm more than happy to answer some light world questions. We have about 7 minutes. What could I go over in the meantime? So I'm waiting for some questions.
Yeah, just a few minutes for questions if you guys have any. I can address questions while we're waiting for chat questions.
Yeah,
No,
sure.
you may not switch groups. If you had an issue with your group because of availability or whatever reason, and you messaged me about it, yeah, we'll do our very very best to get you in with some privates with an available mentor. But otherwise, no, please stay in your assigned groups. Thank you. Grid has a question, maybe.
All right, great. How do you move from the screen where you just hammer dash after pod to grab the shovel? All right, that's a tricky screen, so let's talk about it. So to grab the shovel, I do is I hold up left, and so that way I can talk to him as high as I can, right about here. And I do a lot of mashing. And your goal is to... What I actually do is I hold up left out of this to just immediately. And I am going to switch to mirror. And I don't know how much you guys know about quick warps, but I'm looking at the tree to the right of the menu of the do question do box. And you see how there's like that little bit of the ground to the right of it? That tells me I'm on a quick warp spot. So now when I mirror, I'll be able to just immediately go to shovel, and I'm right on the spot I need to. So your goal... I should have made a save state. Go about here, and then mirror. Now this pixel that I'm on, I'm actually... If I dig, I'm going to be too far to the right. So you have to move over in order to grab this. But that's the goal you're looking for, is to go right to this spot here. And like I said, when you're facing up, you will always dig to your right. So thanks everyone for watching, and everyone chatting and hanging out with me. Even though we had a little bit of trouble in the beginning, but I think we smoothed it out. Pops, thanks for helping me restream the whole thing. I appreciate it.
Thanks for doing it. Thanks for being here. Yeah, sorry about the tech issues, guys. I really appreciate your patience. I did go ahead and announce the next progress race. So that will be Saturday, February 21st at 1 p.m. Eastern, and timing will start on file select at the beginning of the game, just like all of the other races. And timing for this race will end after you defeat Blind, so the boss of Thieves Town, and you mash through the text, and when Link lifts his sword up is when timing stops. So basically, the same time you would split for the segment is when you would split or stop the race room timer to end this race. Um, just keep paying attention to announcements. Keep working with your mentors if you will need clarifications from these lectures. The VODs are being posted in announcements as well. So, let me know if you guys have any questions. I think I have finally caught up on DMs. So, like I always say, my DMs are open at any time. But also, your mentors are going to be the ones who know more about coaching and teaching the game than me. So, if you start to get your question redirected to your mentor, it's probably because you're asking a question that's above my knowledge level, not because I'm trying to like avoid you or something like that. So thank you guys for being a part of this, and we're gonna send a raid out, and we'll be back next week for a race and to keep learning. Take care.
Bye.